Hey everybody, I'm Keen Collins, and today I'm just going to share with you a few tips of what worked for me across all three levels of the CFA. I took these in quick succession of each other in just 15 months, and for level 1 and 2, passed above that 90th percentile threshold. I get asked by my friends or my colleagues, if I have any general advice, and so hopefully I can just share that with a broader audience. And a little caveat to all this is, what worked well for me may not work for you. You know yourself better than I do, but hopefully there's one or two things we can take away from all this. And so, tip number 1, manage your time effectively. The general rule of thumb that they give you is 4 to 6 months, 300 plus hours of studying for each exam, but I would really just take this to the extreme a little bit. Do the 6 months on that end of the spectrum. Because life can happen. I remember sitting next to, fathers and mothers at the exam on my exam day, and I cannot even fathom having other familial or just other life responsibilities while I do this. What I'm saying with all this is that I recognize life can happen, so it's really nice to just have that buffer of time for whatever comes up in life. That being said, on those days where you just can't pick up a book for whatever reason, you can't even look at a page of text, I would just kind of force yourself to do it, even if it's for 5 minutes. These exams are a war of attrition, and if you stop cold turkey just for one day, it is so hard to get back up on that horse and get in that routine, that repetition again. There are slots of time in your day where you can just do 2 things at once, and I promise you it'll lend itself well. If that means reading while you eat, listening while you're on your commute, just do it and find the bits of time in your day, and it just becomes a part of yourself. The second thing that I highly recommend, and I think this is the most important one, is to say no to 2 times speed. I know it's ironic because you could be watching this video right now at 2 times speed, but there's a key difference between the video you're watching now versus the ones that you'll be watching as you're studying for the exam. Right now with this one, you're trying to get as much information as fast as possible. But with the exams, you're trying to retain as much information for as long as it takes. And I'm also not saying to never speed up a video. For me personally, it was anywhere between 1.25 and 1.38. The chef's kiss is 1.38 in my opinion. But that's where I know my limits, because if I went any faster than that, I started to realize to myself, I don't remember a thing that this guy just said. There is so much material that you have to get through over the course of these months, but there are no shortcuts to this. I would just recommend feeling out what speed of a video that you're watching to where you're actually retaining the information, where you're actually learning. For me, 1.38. For you, could be different. And lastly, what is the penultimate to the exam itself is mock exams. You do this about 1 to 1.5 months, depending on the level, before the exam. And I took this to the extreme. I knew that on exam day, I would start that test at 8 a.m. Every mock exam I took, I started at 8 a.m. Do as best you can to simulate that test-taking environment, finding a quiet space where you can do this uninterrupted, without any helpful material as you go throughout it. So basically, I would take these mock exams on Saturday, which takes about 4.5 hours of my day, and you're drained by the end of it. Take the rest of the day off. On Sunday, go through every single question. And I mean this to include the ones that you got right as well, because you could have gotten them right for the wrong reasons. It's really important because this will highlight your weak areas. And so as you progress throughout that Monday through Friday, then you can just study solely on the ones that you got wrong on the test or you got right for the wrong reasons. You will see your mock exam scores incrementally get better throughout the weeks. So that was my general advice there. Just a quick note on prep materials that I use, and I'm in no way affiliated with any of these people. At the time of this video, I have 0 subscribers right now, so they don't want to be affiliated with me. I am a notoriously slow reader, and so Kaplan Schweitzer, what they do is basically take the CFA text and just condenses it down this much to the meat and potatoes of what you'll be tested on. And I found that incredibly helpful for me. They supplement this also with video instruction that pairs with what you just read in the text. They give you a Q bank or a question bank. and they give you mock exams as well. For level 1, that essentials package, I think it's called, was more than enough, and it was perfect, honestly. One thing I will just say though is that only really works for level 1. Level 1 is mainly about memorization. For level 2 and level 3, I found that it wasn't enough. What they do is really just tell you what something is without telling you the how or the why. And I found that through our intrepid leader, our North Star, Mark Meldrum, he essentially creates those pathways in your brain of, oh, that's how that works out. And that was so essential as the tests get incrementally harder. I'm familiar with how his system works. He's fully video format. His videos can be up to 4.5 hours long. And so what I would do is just break that up in bite-sized chunks, still just read a Kaplan module, just a few pages of text, and pair that with about a bite-sized chunk, a 10-minute portion of a Mark Meldrum video. And so instead of watching the Kaplan instruction, I would just go on to markmeldrum.com, watch it there. He also provides a question bank and mock exams that are a lot more difficult than what is actually going to be tested on exam day. Kind of sets a higher bar, and then when you take the actual exam, you're like, oh, okay, that's not so bad. Like, this makes sense. And just to put a footnote on all of this is you really get out what you put in. You don't have a coach next to you. You don't have a teacher that's kind of pushing you along. This is a self-study exam, and the only accountability you have is yourself. You cannot afford to cram information all at the last second because it will not work. I can assure you that it will not work. Just follow that consistency. If you have that buffer time and you really just focus, it can work. And so yeah, these were my general tips across all 3 levels. If you guys would like more level specific strategy tips, I'm happy to do so. Just let me know in the comments below and I can go through level 1, level 2, and level 3, what worked for me, what didn't work for me. That's basically it right there. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. And yeah, just any general feedback as well. This is the first video I've ever posted on this channel. And so yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.